I'm Avery, a 27-year-old junior analyst at a mid-sized tech company. I'm ambitious but quiet, the kind who stays late, triple-checking every spreadsheet. I always thought hard work would speak for itself, until I learned the corporate world rewards the loudest voice. It all started with an idea that kept me up at night. For weeks, I'd been crafting a new workflow system to save our company hours. It wasn't flashy, just practical, fixing problems everyone else ignore them as part of the job. I skipped lunches, stayed late, and even dreamed about formulas. When it was done, I felt it could prove my worth. I pictured it streamlining tasks, slashing errors, and making everyone's day easier. This was my chance to shine, to show I was more than a junior analyst. I poured my heart into every line of code, every chart, testing endlessly. My desk was a mess of notes, my eyes stung from screen time. I shared a draft with my team lead, nervous but hopeful. Office politics were tricky, and I'd seen ideas twisted before. Still, I pushed on, excited for feedback. But that excitement would soon turn to betrayal. The real test wasn't making it work, it was keeping it from being stolen. My manager, Conrad, was the guy who shook hands too long and laughed too loud at the CEO's bad jokes. He acted like everyone's best friend, but his eyes were always calculating, sizing people up. When I showed him my project draft, his smile stretched too wide. "That's impressive, Avery," he said, his voice lingering on the words. I thought it was praise. Looking back, it was hunger. He leaned back, scanning my slides. "You've put a lot into this," he nodded, jotting notes. Pride swelled in me. Conrad was senior, with years of experience. His approval meant the higher-ups might notice. I explained the system's features, automated reports, early error detection. He asked sharp questions, seeming genuinely curious. But something felt off. His eyes flicked to the clock, then back to me like he was plotting something. "Send me the full files," he said casually. Trusting him as my boss, I did. Later, I caught him humming at his desk, looking smug. I brushed it off, focusing on tweaks. I didn't see it then, but that smile hid a thief. Conrad loved the spotlight, always chasing big meetings. My project was his ticket to more glory, and I was blind to his plan. A week later, an email landed. Quarterly Innovation Showcase, mandatory attendance. Conrad forwarded it with one line: dress sharp. I didn't think much of it until I noticed I wasn't asked to present. Surely he'd mentioned my work, right? Spoiler, he didn't. My heart raced as I read the invite. This was the big event where teams pitched to the CEO and execs. My system was perfect, practical, impactful. I'd suggested it to Conrad for the showcase. He'd said, "We'll see." Now, silence. I emailed politely, "Should I prepare anything?" His reply was curt, "Just attend and learn." That stung, but I dressed up. A crisp blouse, neat slacks. On the drive to the office, I rehearsed answers in my head, hoping he'd call me up to explain a detail. The auditorium buzzed with chatter. I took a back row seat, nerves tingling. Presentations rolled out, marketing plans, app mock-ups. Then, Conrad's name echoed. I leaned forward, expecting a nod to my work, but as he strode on stage, my slides loading behind him, my stomach twisted. My graphs, my workflow diagrams, even my exact phrasing. He was about to claim it all. This wasn't just oversight, it was theft, and I was about to watch it unfold. The showcase began and my stomach sank. Conrad strutted on stage with my entire presentation, my graphs, my workflow diagrams, even my exact phrasing. He called it a solution I've been refining for months. My throat tightened, hands shook, but nobody noticed. I wanted to scream, but shock glued me to my seat. He clicked through, explaining features I'd created. "This automates tedious tasks," he said, stealing my words. The crowd murmured approval. The CEO nodded, impressed. My mind raced, timestamps, emails. I had proof, but it felt useless now. Tears stung, but I blinked them away. Conrad gestured grandly, earning chuckles. "Innovation keeps us ahead," he boasted. My innovation. I gripped my chair, whispering, "Breathe." The room felt small, suffocating. He fielded easy questions vaguely, dodging specifics. No one pressed harder. I sat invisible, heart pounding. This wasn't just theft, it was erasure. My work, my late nights, gone in his spotlight. But freezing wouldn't help. His smug glance my way sparked something fierce. I needed a plan, not tears. The applause roared, but my resolve burned hotter. This was far from over. I'd make sure the truth came out, no matter what it took. Just before you continue to watch, please subscribe to this channel and like this video. It would encourage and help us keep creating amazing content for you. All right, back to the story. The room erupted as Conrad bowed slightly like a politician soaking up votes. The CEO nodded, already counting the savings my system would bring. I sat in the back, invisible, clapping like a stranger at my own party. Conrad's eyes flicked to me, his smirk, quick but sharp, cut like a blade. That moment, I swore he wouldn't win. Clapping stung, each sound fueling my anger. Colleagues whispered, "Great job, Conrad." He basked in it, shaking hands. I slipped out, avoiding eyes, and leaned against the hallway wall, breathing hard. How dare he? My late nights, my ideas, stolen in a flash. That smirk lit a fire. He thought I'd stay quiet, the meek junior. No way. I'd fight smart, not loud. Back at my desk, I checked my backups. Every file was there. A coworker passed. Conrad crushed it. I forced a smile, hiding my fury. This wasn't over. I'd expose him on my terms. The applause echoed in my head, but it wasn't his victory. It was my call to action. I'd turn the tables piece by piece until everyone saw the truth. My work wouldn't stay buried, and neither would I. That night, I couldn't sleep. Conrad's smug face looped in my mind like a bad movie. My chest felt tight, thoughts racing. I wanted revenge, but justice felt bigger, truer. Part of me whispered, "Let it go, Avery. Keep your head down." But then I saw myself in 10 years, still invisible, while Conrad climbed on my stolen work. Pacing my apartment, I replayed the showcase. His voice, my slides. It burned. I grabbed a notebook, listing options. Quit? Too easy for him. Confront? He'd deny it. No, I needed strategy. Coffee went cold as I brainstormed. By dawn, anger turned to clarity. I'd erode his facade, not explode. Memories hit, promotions he'd nabbed, ideas he'd borrowed from others. I wasn't his first victim. That fueled me. I pictured the CEO learning the truth, Conrad's mask falling. Justice meant credit where it belonged. Revenge meant his humiliation. I'd aim for both. Sleep came late, restless. I dreamed of standing up, calling him out. Morning light woke me. Resolve hardened. No more silence. Today, I'd start to chip away at his lie, piece by careful, step until the truth shone brighter than his stolen spotlight. Conrad underestimated how meticulous I am. I kept everything. Every draft, time-stamped file, every email. My project lived in shared drives, my initials on every document. I wasn't powerless. I had receipts, and receipts can ruin those who thrive on lies. At my desk, I organized my arsenal, version 1.0 from 3 months back, emails to Conrad with attachments, chat logs of me brainstorming alone. Timestamps showed late-night saves from my home IP, airtight proof of ownership. I backed it all to a personal drive, safe from tampering. He saw me as quiet, not clever, but quiet people notice details. I smiled, picturing his shock when this surfaced. My evidence was my shield and sword. HR policies came to mind. Plagiarism could mean demotion or worse. A coworker nearby praised Conrad's idea. I nodded, hiding my fire. Soon they'd know. I added an email from him, "Great work on the draft." Even that strengthened my case. Power shifted subtly. He had the spotlight, I had the truth. Every file, every timestamp was a step towards justice. I wasn't just fighting for credit, I was fighting for fairness, and I'd make sure my work spoke louder than his lies. Next morning, I lingered at the water cooler, casually mentioning the workflow system. I dropped tiny details, quirks and formulas only I'd know, like the error handling loop's unique tweak. Coworkers perked up, surprised I knew Conrad's project so well. One said, "Weird, you explain it better than he did." Exactly what I wanted. Sipping coffee, I leaned in. That nested loop stops the lag. Remember those crashes? They nodded, intrigued. No accusants, just facts. Whispers started. Avery knows this inside out. I kept it humble, light. By lunch, Moore joined, asking, "How'd you figure that out?" I shrugged, trial and error. Truth was, it was my creation. Conrad passed, glaring briefly. He heard but stayed silent. Seeds of doubt were planted. Back at my desk, I felt a spark of triumph. This wasn't a loud attack, it was erosion. People questioned quietly. An email came. "Thanks for the system tips." Perfect. The narrative was shifting. Conrad's theft wouldn't hold if everyone saw my expertise. I jotted notes, planning my next move. Each word I spoke chipped at his facade. The truth was spreading, and I was just getting started. In a follow-up meeting, Conrad stumbled hard. Someone asked about a bug in the system, and he waved it off with vague buzzwords. I spoke up, soft but precise. "It's likely the nested function in line 42 causing that." Eyebrows shot up. Conrad laughed nervously, but cracks showed. He fumbled, switching slides fast. "Yeah, what Avery said." His voice shook. I added calmly, "It ties to the API to prevent overload." The room nodded, impressed. Conrad's face tightened, sweat visible. People exchanged looks. Doubt was forming. After, a few stayed saying, "That was clear, Avery." I smiled modestly. Whispers trailed him out. "She knows it better." Later, I reviewed my notes, heart racing. This was working. He'd trip again under pressure. Patience was my ally. That bug question was small but deadly. It exposed his fraud. I planned my next nudge, knowing each slip widened the cracks. Conrad thought he could coast on my work, but the room saw through him. I wasn't yelling, I was unraveling. Every correction planted more doubt. Soon, everyone would question his claim. The truth was gaining ground, and I was ready to push harder. After the meeting, Maya from HR pulled me aside. She'd caught the tension, my deep knowledge. "Off the record," she whispered, "was that your project?" I hesitated, then nodded. Her eyes widened. "Document everything, you might need it." We slipped into a quiet corner. Maya was sharp, fair. "I've seen managers steal credit. It's toxic," she said. I shared a bit, drafts, timestamps. She nodded. "Build your case quietly. If it escalates, come to me." Relief hit. An ally. I hadn't expected this. "Conrad's connected, but truth wins," she warned. We parted with a nod. At home, I added to my evidence. Meeting notes, witness names. Maya's advice echoed. Document everything. This changed the game. I wasn't alone anymore. Her support fueled my resolve. Conrad would underestimate her too. I pictured him squirming when the truth surfaced. My plan evolved. Gather allies, stay subtle. Justice felt closer. I saved every email, every file, ready for battle. Maya's words were a lifeline, proof I could fight back. Conrad's days of stealing were numbered, and I was building an airtight case to make sure the truth came out strong. That night, I started a private video diary at home, like confessing to an invisible audience. It wasn't for fame, it was for sanity. Talking through Conrad's betrayal made it real, less heavy. I imagined posting it someday, letting the world decide. For now, it was my secret weapon. On my bed, phone propped, I hit record. Day one after he stole my work, I spilled it all. His smirk, the stolen applause, my frozen shock. Tears fell, but clarity followed. He took my project, but not my proof. Nights blurred into recordings detailing evidence, emotions. It was therapy, sharpening my story. If needed, this could be evidence. Anonymized, no names yet. One entry, "Maya believes me." Huge. It built confidence. Videos piled up. My truth's timeline. Conrad had no clue. This weapon waited, ready. I felt stronger, less suffocated. Each recording grounded me, fueled my fight. I wasn't just venting, I was preparing. If the day came to share, I'd be ready. For now, it kept me sane, a quiet vow that I'd reclaim what was mine, no matter how long it took.
Conrad strutted into the office like a king. The CEO had stopped at his desk, calling him a rising star. He soaked it up, grinning wide, while bile rose in my throat. It wasn't just about me anymore. It was about fairness, truth. Revenge wasn't optional now. He high-fived colleagues, boasting subtly. CEO loved the system. My system. I nodded politely, seething inside. This lit a fire. Justice demanded exposure. At lunch, he replayed the praise, colleagues congratulating. I excused myself, plotting. Videos, evidence, allies. I had tools. Revenge would be calculated, not reckless. By afternoon, my resolve hardened. No more optional. Truth would win. Conrad's star would fade. I pictured the CEO's face when he learned the truth. Conrad's fall from grace. Fairness wasn't just personal, it was right. I'd expose him not with shouts, but with facts. My evidence was ready, allies forming. His smugness fueled me. He thought he'd won, but I was just starting. Every step forward strengthened my plan. The office buzzed with his praise, but I knew it was built on lies. Soon those lies would crumble, and I'd make sure everyone saw the real star. My work. I proposed an internal workshop to train others on the workflow. Conrad leaped at it, eager to flaunt his idea again. But I'd leased the slides with landmines, tiny details only the creator would know, like why I chose a specific sorting algorithm or how the system handled rare errors. I volunteered to help present, playing humble. Conrad, too cocky to suspect anything, agreed instantly. I spent nights crafting those slides, embedding questions he couldn't answer, technical nuances from months of my trial and error. He skimmed my work, not studied it. This was my trap. The workshop loomed, and I rehearsed my role, staying supportive, only stepping in when he faltered, always with the meek, just adding context. My heart raced, but I stayed calm. This wasn't about confrontation, it was about exposing him naturally. Conrad emailed, "I'll lead, should be fun." He had no idea. I double-checked my evidence, noting potential slip-ups. The team would ask questions and he'd stumble. Doubt would spread. This was the turning point. His facade would crack publicly. I felt nerves and excitement mix. The truth was ready to surface, and I was setting the stage for his downfall, one careful slide at a time. The workshop arrived, and someone asked why a step was ordered a certain way. Conrad bluffed, mumbling about efficiency, but missing the real reason, a data dependency to avoid bottlenecks. I gently corrected. Building on Conrad's point, it's about the data chain in line 42. Murmurs rippled, people jotted notes. His mask slipped. He laughed nervously, sweat beading, and rushed to the next slide. Another question hit. How does it scale for big data sets? Conrad fumbled, saying upgrades. I stepped in. The modular design handles exponential growth. Tested it last month. I shifted, whispers grew. Avery knows this cold. He glared at me, confidence crumbling. I stayed polite, adding details only I'd know, like the API's overload protection. The room leaned in, sensing the gap between us. Conrad ended early, voice tight, thanking everyone curtly. Attendees approached me after, bypassing him. That was so clear, Avery. His face was thunder. Doubt spread like wildfire. This wasn't a small slip. It was a public unraveling. I walked away, heart pounding with triumph. The cracks were wide now, and the team saw it. Conrad's stolen spotlight was dimming, and I was just warming up for the next move. By week end, whispers filled the office. People noticed how often I fixed Conrad's mistakes in the workshop. In the break room, a colleague said, "Avery, you explained it better than him." Another joked, "Maybe you should be manager." Conrad overheard, his face hardening. He saw me as a threat now. Talk buzzed. She knew every detail. Emails hit my inbox. "Can you clarify that system part?" Directed at me, not him. His authority waned. He dodged group huddles, delegating tasks to avoid scrutiny. The joke about me leading spread, fueling gossip. Conrad's slipping. She's the real deal. I stayed neutral, letting it grow. He'd built his throne on my work, but it was crumbling. Deep down, he knew I wasn't backing off. The power shifted. Colleagues looked to me for answers. I kept my cool, but inside I burned with purpose. Every whisper chipped at his lie. He'd underestimated me, thinking I'd stay quiet. Now the office saw his gaps. This wasn't just talk, it was the start of his downfall. I planned my next step, knowing each move tightened the noose. The truth was out, and I was ready to pull harder.
Conrad cornered me by the elevators, his voice low and venomous. "Cut it out, Avery. You're making me look bad." I stared back, steady for once. "I'm not making you look bad. You're doing that yourself." He had no comeback, a first. The war was on. His eyes narrowed, breath heavy. "You think you're clever, undermining me?" I held my ground. "I'm just sharing what I know." Silence stretched, tense. The elevator dinged. He stormed in alone. My heart pounded, but fear was gone. He'd declared battle, but I was armed. Evidence, allies, truth. Back at my desk, adrenaline surged. No more hiding. The workshop had exposed him, and now he was desperate. I pictured his panic, knowing the team doubted him. My plan sharpened. Stay subtle, let him unravel. He thought he could intimidate me, but that glare only fueled me. I checked my evidence file, adding notes on his threat. This was escalation, but I was ready. Colleagues whispered nearby, their respect shifting to me. Conrad's throne was shaky, and I'd keep pushing. The truth was my weapon, and his own lies would bury him. War had begun, and I was fighting to win. Next morning, I couldn't access half my files. Conrad had, accidentally, revoked my permissions. I marched to IT, acting confused, and they restored everything in hours. But here's the kicker. IT logs every action. Now I had proof of his sabotage. The IT guy raised an eyebrow. Revoked by Conrad? Strange. Logs showed his ID, timestamped. Clear sabotage. I saved copies, adding them to my dossier. Theft plus tampering, a deadly combo. Conrad thought he'd cripple me, but it backfired. Files restored, I worked as usual, but inside I was electric. His desperation was showing. I pictured him sweating, thinking he'd erased my edge. Instead, he handed me more evidence. I emailed Maya, hinting at the issue without accusing directly. She replied, "Noted. Keep me posted." My case grew stronger. Colleagues noticed my calm, asking about the system. I answered, planting more doubt. Conrad's move was sloppy, traceable. He'd underestimated IT's records and my resolution. Every step he took dug his hole deeper. I felt the tide turning. His lies couldn't hold against my proof. The war was heating up, and I was ready to strike back, with facts, not fury. His own actions would be his undoing. At the next executive meeting, the CEO asked a simple question. "Conrad, walk us through how you came up with this idea." He froze, eyes wide, like a deer in headlights. Murmurs rippled through the room. I bit my lip to stifle a laugh. He stammered, piecing together vague nonsense about brainstorming and iterations. No specifics, just buzzwords. The CEO pressed, "What about the core logic?" Conrad's face glistened, answers crumbling. Execs shifted, sensing weakness. My heart raced. This was the moment. His lies unraveled in front of everyone. He tried deflecting, mentioning team effort, but it sounded hollow. The room grew quiet, tension thick. I sat still, letting him flounder. His panic was palpable, voice shaking as he dodged details only I knew, like the algorithm's unique error handling or the database tweaks. Colleagues glanced at me, remembering my workshop clarity. Conrad's rising star glow dimmed. I felt a rush. Justice was close. He'd stolen my work, but couldn't defend it. The CEO's question was a spark, and his facade was burning. I knew my chance was coming. This wasn't just a stumble, it was the beginning of his fall, and I was ready to step into the light. Conrad's half-answers collapsed, and the CEO turned to me. "Avery, you seem to know a lot about this. What's your take?" My heart pounded, but I spoke clearly, laying out every step with precision. The room leaned in, captivated. When I finished, the silence screamed louder than applause. I explained the system's origin, spotting the problem, researching solutions, coding late nights, refining through tests. I detailed the algorithm's logic, the error handling I'd perfected, the scalability tweaks. Execs nodded, some taking notes. Conrad shrank,
his face pale. I stayed calm, factual, letting truth shine. Colleagues whispered, "She built this." The CEO's eyes locked on me, impressed. I felt exposed, but powerful. Conrad tried interjecting, but his voice was weak, ignored. The silence after my explanation was heavy. Truth had landed. I'd claimed my work without accusing, letting facts speak. His lie was exposed, not by shouting, but by my command of details. The room shifted. Respect turned my way. I saw Maya nod slightly from the corner. This was it, the moment the tide turned. Conrad's theft was unraveling, and I stood tall, no longer invisible. The spotlight was mine, and I wasn't letting it go. After the meeting, I sent the CEO a carefully organized file. Drafts, timestamps, emails, IT logs of Conrad's sabotage. I didn't accuse him of theft. I let the evidence talk. A day later, HR called a clarification meeting. Conrad walked in smug, but left broken. My file was bulletproof. Early sketches from 6 months ago, revision logs with my home IP, emails where Conrad praised my draft. The IT log sealed it. His attempt to block my access. In the meeting, HR grilled him. He denied, but stumbled over details, contradicting himself. The CEO watched, stone-faced. My evidence was undeniable, each timestamp a nail in his coffin. Conrad's excuses, it was a team effort, fell flat. HR cited policy. Plagiarism meant consequences. He left, head down, no longer the star. I sat quietly, heart racing. Maya winked at me. The room cleared, but whispers lingered. Avery's the real deal. I'd won without a fight, letting truth do the work. Conrad's lie was exposed, his career teetering. I felt relief, but also power. I'd reclaimed my work. The office buzzed with rumors, and I knew this was just the start of justice unfolding fully. Rumors spread like wildfire. Conrad was suddenly on leave, but everyone knew it meant he was done. His desk cleared out overnight, like he'd been erased. Coworkers treated me differently. More respect, more curiosity. Part of me couldn't believe it was over. The office hummed with gossip. Conrad stole her work. People nodded when I passed, some asking about the system. My inbox filled with messages. You deserved the credit. I stayed humble, but inside I soared. The truth had won, faster than I had expected. Yet it felt surreal, justice so swift. Colleagues who praised Conrad now sought my advice. The shift was clear. I wasn't invisible anymore. Maya stopped by, whispering, "Told you truth wins." Her support grounded me. I checked my evidence file, ensuring it was safe. Rumors grew. He's out for good. I felt vindicated, but cautious. Conrad had connections. Still, his absence lifted a weight. The office felt lighter, fairer. I worked on, but now with eyes on me, not him. This wasn't the end, but a beginning. I'd fought quietly and won loudly. The truth had reshaped everything, and I was ready for what came next.
The CEO called me into his office. He thanked me for my diligence, integrity, bravery. I almost laughed. Bravery? I was just surviving. But when he offered me a project team to lead, my throat caught. Real recognition hit hard. We sat across his desk, sunlight streaming through the window. "Your system's a game changer," he said. "We need your vision." I nodded, stunned. He outlined the role, leading a small team, driving innovation. "You've earned this," he added. I thought of the nights spent coding, the betrayal, the fight. This was validation. I accepted, voice steady but heart racing. He smiled, saying, "You're not what I expected, Avery." I took it as a compliment. Leaving his office, I felt taller. Colleagues noticed, whispering, "She's leading now?" Maya grinned from her desk. The weight of Conrad's theft lifted, replaced by purpose. I pictured my team, ensuring everyone's ideas were heard. This wasn't just a job, it was my chance to build fairness. The CEO's trust was real, not stolen. I walked back to my desk, mind buzzing with plans. Justice had opened a door, and I was ready to step through, leading with truth. A week later, Conrad emailed me.
No subject, just bitter words. You didn't have to ruin me. Hope it was worth it. I stared, emotions colliding. Relief, anger, a flicker of pity. I didn't reply. Some things don't deserve an answer. His message sat in my inbox, a ghost of his defeat. I reread it, picturing his desperation. He'd built a career on lies, and now he faced the fallout. I felt no joy, just closure. His words couldn't undo my victory. I thought of the office, now free of his shadow. Colleagues' respect grew daily. They asked me questions, valued my input. Maya's advice echoed. Truth wins. I deleted his email, choosing silence over spite. Pity lingered. He'd lost everything, while I'd gained a future. My evidence had spoken, and he'd crumbled. I checked my video diary, its raw honesty grounding me. Conrad's note was a final jab, but it missed. I was moving forward, stronger. The office buzzed with my new role, and I focused there, not on his bitterness. Justice was done, and I didn't need his regret to feel whole. My work, my truth, was enough. One night, I uploaded my video diary as a storytime clip, anonymized, no company names. I expected a few views, maybe some sympathy. Instead, it exploded. Thousands of comments flooded in. "You're a hero. This happened to me. Conrad deserved it." My story wasn't as mine anymore. Views climbed overnight, shares spreading across platforms. People related, sharing their own tales of stolen credit. "You inspired me to speak up," one wrote. My heart swelled. I touched lives. The video, raw and honest, resonated. I'd bared my pain, my fight, and it connected. No names, but the truth shone. I read comments late into the night, tears falling. Strangers called me brave, strong. It wasn't about fame, it was about impact. My diary, once private, became a beacon. I pictured Conrad seeing it, his face falling. But this wasn't for him, it was for everyone silenced by a thief. The office buzzed, colleagues mentioned the video, not knowing it was me. I kept quiet, letting it grow. Maya texted, "Saw it. Proud of you." My story had wings, carrying hope. I'd fought for justice, and now others felt empowered. The truth wasn't just mine, it was universal. Now I lead a small team, ensuring every junior analyst gets credit for their work. Conrad's email lingers in my inbox, unread, like a ghost. I don't regret a thing. When the CEO asked one simple question, everything changed, and I was never invisible again. My team thrives on fairness. Everyone's ideas are heard. I mentor, teach, and build, creating a space where no one's erased. The office respects me. Colleagues seek my input. Maya is my ally, checking in often. I still code, but now I lead, shaping projects with purpose. Conrad's gone. Rumors say he's jobless, his reputation tarnished. I feel no joy, just peace. My video's still viral, inspiring others to fight for their truth. I read comments daily, each one a reminder of why I spoke up. The CEO trusts me, my team grows. I check my evidence files sometimes, a reminder of my strength. That question, "How'd you come up with this?" broke Conrad's lie and built my future. I'm visible, valued, and unstoppable. Justice was not just winning, it was creating a world where truth matters. I lead with that now, and no one, not even a ghost, can dim my light. If you enjoyed this story, make sure to like this video, comment, and smash the subscribe button. Also check out other videos on the channel. We've got more interesting stories for you.